hand in hand.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We are not afraid.
We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We shall all be free.
We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday.
Okay, you guys are going to make me cry right before we do our opening song. So we would love it if you would be willing or able to stand for our opening song, which is We Are One in Harmony. So we have a chance to affirm.
We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. Who we are is ever free, one with all creation. Who we are is ever free, one with all creation. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. Who we are is ever free, one with all creation. Who we are is ever free, one with all creation. We are one, singing in celebration. celebration, we are one. Singing in love, we are one. Singing in celebration, we are one. Singing in love.
Thank you, Laura Berryhill and Anton Miserak. Wow, that bigger than bigotry song. Whoa. I will share with you that Anton asked me if that was too political to sing. I said, heck no, it's not political.
It might be close.
Sings to our, I think it sings to our values. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and again, thank you for managing the parking situation. I guess there's another volleyball tournament going on down the street. Wesley was going to try to find out for us the schedule so we can be prepared. He is waiting outside the front door. Did he give you a ride again, Prudence, or not? Help you park? Yeah, so if you can't walk a long distance and you come and it's like this, pull up front, Wesley will go park your car, or somebody will go park your car for you to walk back. Anyway, welcome this morning to Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley in partnership with Unity of Medford. I'm Kimberly Hawkins. Always a pleasure to welcome each of you, no matter where you may happen to be today on your own personal spiritual path. If there's anybody here for the very first time, we'd love to welcome you with just a little love. Anybody first-timers here? Welcome, welcome. So glad you found your way to us. If you keep your hand up, if you didn't receive a welcome packet, Vivian will deliver one to you now. All right, here we go. Thank you. So let's see, we have a few people to introduce this morning. First of all, we are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive faith community, and we teach tools to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for all. Beautiful singing about, all of creation. We are one with it. We have a few people to introduce. Morel Wyeth is our practitioner who will be doing our opening prayer momentarily and reading. Nancy Clay, another practitioner, did our meditation this morning. She's sitting high watch, praying for everybody's good throughout the service. A welcome as well to those watching online or those watching our recording later. We're so glad you could join us. I think, let's see, one more thing, and then, land. I'm going to do a land acknowledgement once again. So as a reminder, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the ancestral homelands of the Latgawa people and other neighboring tribes here in the Rogue Valley, who occupied this land well before we did. We honor their enduring relationship with this land, their culture, wisdom, and resilience. May we remember that we are guests upon this sacred ground, and may we commit to living with greater respect, justice, and care for the earth and for one another. If you have not already done so, please turn your cell phones off or in airplane mode. And I'm going to turn it over to our musicians once again to prepare us for our invocation and reading. After this song, as always, please hold your applause because we'll go right into prayer.
So I'm just going to make a quick announcement, and that is that fourth Sunday is the Sunday where we acknowledge that we are an interwoven community of both Center for Spiritual Living and Unity. So we're gonna do a couple of throwback songs to the unity part of the community. Oops. We are one, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in this unity we shall live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one.
we shall live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. We are one, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in this unity we shall live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. And peace has come, 'cause we are one, and peace has come, 'cause we are one.
I know that God is one and indivisible. It is the silent ground of all being. It is nearer to us than our breath. That great self has created us out of its own being. It is in and around us. It is us. It cannot be known. It can only be experienced. It's so wonderful seeing everyone here within our collective oneness, and we are here in oneness, gladness, and love. It is beautiful that we have found each other, and how beautifully this old church's bones holds us in its loving embrace. Today I know that Reverend Kimberly's talk will touch each of us in places we may not even have been aware of. But everything is heard that needs to be heard from the words that flow from Reverend Kimberly's talk. She gives gladly, and we participate gladly. I give thanks for everyone here today, and I'm grateful for this word. I release it, and we say together, and so it is. Well, I would like, in honor of the unity section of our togetherness, I would like to read a poem by a unity minister named James Dillett Freeman, very famous for his poetry. One of his prayer for protection was Taken to the Moon by Edwin Aldrin, and then later on, another one was taken, I Am There, was taken to the moon by Colonel James B. Irwin on Apollo 15. So his poems are left on the moon. Do you need me? Oh, let me start again. I Am There by James Dillett Freeman, the second one that went to the moon. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysterious. Only in absolute stillness, beyond self, can you know me as I am, and then, but as a feeling and a faith. Yet I am there, yet I hear, yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even when you feel in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you, and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me, for only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your hearts of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all, and I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there. I am there because I have to, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world move forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells is founded. I am the love that is the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Through your faith in me, though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers. Because I know you, because I love you. Beloved, I am there. Thank you.
So I'm going to say another word. This church has a great music team, and it has for many years. Actually, we have quite a bit of the music team here. We have our choir director, Tammy. You want to just stand up for a minute so that people can see you? Laura and I are your music directors, but before that, the music director was Andy Anderson. Andy, you want to stand up? And before that was Melissa Felipe. We're going to do a Melissa Felipe song. We just want to say that this little church here has spawned music that goes out internationally and changes the world for the better. So we want to acknowledge the support from the church and give some back through playing right now.
There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
Well, it seems a lot of you know this song. So if you want to turn to somebody else and sing.
There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
So God's work is never done. There's always more. How about you turn a different direction?
There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one. There is only one.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I feel full already. I don't know about you. We are wrapping up this month's series this morning, which has been about going back to the basics, the basic principles we teach in New Thought, i.e. both religious science, which is now Centers for Spiritual Living, and Unity. So I'm focusing today on chapter 2, and it was called, Ernest called it, The Way It Works, of course, it being God, the law, spirit. And the title, I believe, was Infinite Possibilities and Kinship, Divine Kinship, which we've been singing about. Infinite possibilities. With God's Spirit, all things are possible. We forget that sometimes, right? And kinship, divine kinship, meaning we are truly all one. We've been singing and talking about that all morning already. I wanted to begin with a little story about a 5-year-old boy named Johnny who desperately wanted a younger brother. So he went to his daddy. Daddy, oh, please, please, could I please have a younger brother? I'll do anything. And his father thought for a moment and thought, 35-year-old wise guy, I mean, wisdom, not wise, you know, in a derogative sense. He said, well, Johnny, if you really want to know, yes, you can do something. Why don't you pray every day for 2 months? And I promise you, at the end of 2 months, God will give you a baby brother. So Johnny took this very seriously, went up to his room early that night to begin the prayer vigil, and every night for 30 days, he prayed about a baby brother. Then one day he's out in the neighborhood talking to some of his older buddies and telling them what he is doing, and they're saying, honey, that's wacko. You don't just pray for a baby brother and whammo, he appears. That's not the way it works. So he gave up his prayer vigil. About a month later, his mom went to the hospital, and when she came back home, she was in the bedroom in bed, and Dad opened the door and let Johnny in and uncovered this little bundle that was lying next to her. And there was not just one baby boy, there were 2. And his dad said, see, aren't you glad you prayed? Johnny took a breath and thought a minute and said, yes, aren't you glad I stopped when I did? And I love that, because here was a kid who believed in infinite possibilities. I mean, how many would there have been if he hadn't stopped praying? And you know, maybe that was a bit of magical thinking, but we do pray for anything. I mean, for a couple who is infertile, we pray that they can conceive. For a couple who's decided to adopt, we pray that the right match is made. Anything is possible with God. All things are possible. I kind of talked about that a little bit last week, but I'm really trying to really feel it and remember it. It's a powerful, powerful practice. This chapter we're talking about, the way it works, chapter 2, is actually the shortest chapter in the Science of Mind textbook. And I have several copies of that textbook because when I first read it, that copy is falling apart. You know, the binding is broken and the pages are falling out. But I looked back at that one original copy that I first studied, and I had written across the first page, I write all over my books, awesome chapter. Because this idea that there's unformed substance, we talked about this last week, the law, the soil, unformed substance that can be shaped into anything according to our thoughts, is such a powerful thing. Remember, seed, soil, plant. Our thoughts get seeded into the soil, which is that receptive part of the divine, which always responds. It is not a respecter of persons. It doesn't say, I'm going to answer your prayer, Andy, but I'm not going to answer Bonnie's. It doesn't work that way. And so when we worry and when we seed negativity into that law, we tend to get things that we don't want. It is always, always working. Emerson said, there is no great and no small to the soul that maketh all. We tend to think some prayers are harder than others, and there's no such thing in the mind of the divine. It may be harder for us to conceive how, if I've been given a terminal diagnosis, I might have a miraculous remission, right? It might be hard for me to conceive, if I can't pay my rent this month, that I have an abundant flow that is always coming to me, you know? But to God, there is no difficulty. And this is something I think we need to steep ourselves in that knowing. There's another story, because I think there's twofold here. There's one, all prayers are answered, and there's a belief that if they're not answered, we're somehow either not using the law correctly or we're not having enough faith, right? To really, really have faith. Another aspect to this idea of infinite possibility is knowing the magnificence. I think one year our theme in Centers for Spiritual Living was awakening us to our spiritual magnificence. We forget. Sometimes we are mired in small thinking, in small beliefs about ourselves. And there's a beautiful story told by Joseph Campbell and Osho. Perhaps you've heard it. It's about a lion among goats. There was a pregnant mama tigress, who came across a group of goats, and she became so excited because it was food for her and her unborn that she attacked one of the goats, and in the process of getting all excited, the vigor with which she attacked, she went into labor, had the baby tiger, and died in the process. So the little baby tiger was lying next to her. The goats had all scattered when the tiger came on the scene, but they all came back and found this little tiger. And being paternal and loving, they adopted him and raised him. And as he grew, he learned to bleat, and he ate grass as they did. And he wasn't the healthiest specimen of a tiger, because that's not what tigers are supposed to eat. Well, one day, as he was continuing to grow, a male tiger came looking for something to eat. And again, the goats all dispersed. The tiger, being a tiger, not knowing it, but being a tiger, wasn't as afraid as the goats, so he stayed. And the older tiger looked at him and said, a tiger among goats, what are you doing here? The young tiger just went, meh. The tiger said, come on, man, don't you know who you are? Meh, and kept eating grass. At that point, the tiger got pretty frustrated. He kind of slapped him around and said, hey, get a grip, boy. Come. And he dragged him over, picked him up by the nape of the neck and dragged him over to the pond and had him look at his reflection. He said, look, you are like me. You are a tiger. And the poor little tiger was pretty baffled, didn't really understand what was going on. Then the older tiger took him back to his den, where he had the leftovers of a gazelle that he had killed earlier that day. And he said, here, eat this. And the tiger was like, oh, come on, this is tiger food. And the little guy said, no, I'm a vegetarian. So at that point, the big tiger took a piece of meat and just kind of shoved it in his mouth. And the little tiger gagged at first, then he started to chew, and then it was like, ooh. And as he ate and began to feel strength, something happened, and that tiger essence kind of began to surface. He gave a little stretch, and he gave a little tiger roar. And the big tiger said, "There. That's who you are. That's who you came to be. Now go out and eat tiger food." And from that day on, that little tiger grew into what he had come to be. So my question out of this sweet story is, where in our lives are we acting like goats when we're really tigers? It's easy to do, you know. He was growing up in a community that all they knew was goats and vegetarianism, and it was the only language they spoke. And we too are subjective to what our New Thought teachers call race thought, limiting views. You know, little things like, hey, it's flu season, everybody's going to get sick. Well, if I believe that, I'll probably get sick. If I don't buy into it, there's a good chance that I won't, even if I'm exposed, right? So where is it in my life, I'm asking me and asking you to take a look, where have you settled? Where have you believed what other people told you about, or how other people acted, or what the world thinks, or the nation thinks, or the newscast thinks is possible? And where is your heart yearning to expand, to stretch, to give a roar, to contribute in ways that you haven't before? I think it's a great thing to explore. Ernest Holmes says, "Our belief sets the limits to our demonstration of a principle." Okay, let's kind of dissect that a minute. Demonstration meaning manifested prayer, something that comes into being. Our belief sets the limits to our demonstration of a principle, the principle that our thoughts are creative, right? Our thoughts are creative. Change your thinking, change your life, we often say. Now, this principle of itself, says Holmes, is without limit. It is ready to fill everything because it's infinite. So it is not a question of its willingness, nor of its ability. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. So back to that story about Johnny and, you know, his belief that, hey, if he hadn't stopped praying, it's infinite number of children might have appeared in his mama's bed, right? I know we all have examples of prayers that were answered in unexpected ways, and it's so important to remember them. In fact, we have a prayer box in the back, and we accept prayers requests online. And not only does our ecclesiastical corps love to answer and pray for people that request prayer, we also love to hear about answered prayer, because it helps all of us in our faith and our belief and our remembering that this stuff works. So here's an example from my life. There have been so many. I got to back up a couple steps because there's actually 2 steps to this story. I had moved from Arizona to Huntington Beach, California, was living in a 2-story apartment that was okay. They accepted pets. I had a black lab at the time named Cinder, and I was only like a half mile from the beach and a quarter mile from my sister, Kristen, which was awesome. But I used to walk Cinder through this luxury apartment complex that was right across the street that had beautiful landscape grounds and waterfalls. And as I would go by the buildings, there were several buildings, I always used to say, I want to live in that one. There were several on the ground floor that had on the corner, they had big patios, covered, big patios. And they overlooked this luxurious grounds, you know, and I just had it in my mind that that's the one I want. Well, finally, a year or so later, when my lease was up at the first place, and Cinder sadly had passed on, that apartment complex didn't accept large dogs, I realized that I could go check it out. And sure enough, when I went to check it out, there were 2 apartments available, and one was the very one that I wanted. Interesting, right? Now, the glitch was, it was a very expensive apartment. It was like 2 master suites. There were 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, you know, on separate ends of the apartment. And it wasn't something I could afford on my own. There was also a den, which I used as my counseling room, my counseling space. So I went, and when that was available, I put my deposit down. And on faith, I was like, okay, this is meant to be mine, right? I'm going to receive it. We have to be receptive. And then I went about looking for a roommate because I wasn't going to be able to afford it. Sure enough, when I put out the word, somebody in my Namaste community, which was my sister's community, was looking. She was great. She moved in, JJ. We lived together for a few years. It was awesome. Then JJ decided that she was more of a mountain person than an ocean person. And she was preparing to leave, and she gave me adequate notice. And I thought, no problem, right? Well, this time it didn't go so easily. Nobody at church was suitable. I had put ads online for a roommate, picture of the apartment, put a sign up in the laundry room, nothing. We're now 3 weeks to the point where JJ moves out and I gotta pay the next month's rent, and I'm like, ooh. I was in ministerial school at the time and making money by counseling and teaching. I didn't make a lot of money. There was no way I could afford the whole rent. One night my sister came over. We did a yoga class together at my place, and I was telling her how I was getting nervous. And she was an active minister at the time. She said, okay, come sit in my car before I go home. We're gonna pray. And she did one of those prayers I hope you've had at some point in your life, where I knew there was no problem here. My problem was solved. I can't remember if it was the next day or 2 or 3 days later, but later that week, I decide for some reason, God probably knows why, to go to a boot camp that I had never been to on the tennis court at my sister's condo complex. It was all women. And when I went, I learned that there was a woman who normally came but wasn't there that day. She had just come back from a 2-week trip to Mexico whale watching. Her name was Bernetta. Bernetta rented a room with somebody who owned their condo. And the woman who was explaining this to me said she came home from her vacation and her landlady said she wanted her out by the end of the month because her boyfriend was moving in. She only gave her 3 weeks' notice, and she had just gotten back, right? So she was desperate, and I thought, oh, okay. So I called my sister. I said, you're not going to believe what just happened. Do you know somebody named Bernetta in your complex? Oh, Bernetta, she said, we love Bernetta. They walked their dogs in the morning together. And Bernetta had been, what she knew about her, she had been a practicing Buddhist for very many years, and at the time was attending a New Thought church, Johnny Coleman's church, in the LA area, and they love her. So Bernetta and I connect, and she comes over. Now, the one problem possibly was she had a dog, right? And I have a cat at that point. So she comes over, and we're sitting, talking in the living room, getting to know one another, which was the beginning of a lifelong friendship. I'm still in touch with this woman. My cat walks out and sits under the dining room table and hisses at Buddy, her Shih Tzu, and Buddy takes 2 steps back and sits down. It was fine. So Bernetta moves in. Now imagine what a win-win that was. Bernetta was rather panicking when she got home and needed to find a place. I was panicking. We lived together, I think it was 3 years. It was a wonderful friendship, and as I said, I just saw her when I was back in LA recently. But that's how prayer can work. Who would have known? And why did I go that day to that? I mean, who knows? But remember, when we pray, we have a clear picture of what it is we want. We don't outline how, when, where. We leave that up to the divine, because it has so many more options and possibilities than we can absolutely possibly imagine. So, my dear friends, there's one more thing I kind of wanted to mention today. Where's Virginia? I just read volume 2, and I am blown away. I mentioned this. This is a series of books called Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East. It was written about 100 years ago. And I mentioned last week, it's the man, Baird Spalding, who wrote it. There was a group of 11 scientists from this country that were very skeptical and cynical that went to visit for 3.5 years. They spent time with masters in Tibet, India, China, what was then Persia, and weren't about to believe anything without proof, right? And just were blown away by the way these masters could do things like walk on water, cure, heal physical illnesses with touch, all kinds of things. And when Virginia recommended this book to me, she said, it's what we teach here. And my gosh. So I hope I brought the right one, 25. And I probably didn't. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I didn't. I brought the one. Well, I will just tell you then. It talks about the law and how the law always, manifests. And it actually talks about what we have made into our 5-step treatment. You know, our 5-step affirmative prayer, step number 1 is we talk about what the divine is. It's like the beautiful poem that Morel read from James Dillett Freeman. It's talking about what the divine is. The second step is unifying, knowing that we are one with it. We can't be separate. If God is all there is, we're made from it, as is everyone else. And we have often said, if you really get those first 2 steps, you almost don't need another prayer, because you know that God is everywhere. You know it's only good. You know you can't be separate from that good. You know it loves you like a love we can't possibly imagine. So what could possibly be lacking? But we go on to do affirmations in the 3rd step of this affirmative spiritual mind treatment, and I'll talk about what that means in a minute. And we affirm, you know, the perfect apartment is now mine. The perfect roommate is now mine. Perfect health is now mine, and so on. And we do it with feeling. And then we give thanks. It's very important to give thanks, knowing it's done. And then we release it into the law, that unformed substance, because it's not ours to figure out how, when, where, make it happen. We let it go. And in this book, what he was saying was, you keep giving thanks. You don't keep praying because it's done. But you keep giving thanks that it's here. And it manifests. And I was like, wow. Now, he was almost a contemporary, a little bit older, I think, than Holmes, because the expedition happened in the late 1800s. The book was written in the early 1920s, late 1920s. Anyway, the theme for this month was Ancient Wisdom, New Thought. This is ancient wisdom. We're not making it up. And these masters knew the infinite possibilities that existed. Infinite. And just could change anything, could literally cross a river by walking on top of it, could heal could raise somebody from the dead. And remember, Jesus said, these things and more ye shall do. So I highly recommend this. I'm looking forward to reading volume 3, which is the 3rd year of their trip. And I wanted to read to you, let's see, I do have time. Well, let's see. I wanted to read another thing, but I wonder if I have a little bit of time. So I was gonna also do frequently asked questions. You know, frequently asked questions in Science of Mind. And I probably didn't bring my cheat sheet up, so let's see. Yes, I did. What is the meaning of new thought, and is it different from new age? So we say new thought, but we also say ancient wisdom new thought, because it's the same. These principles have been taught for eons, thousands and tens of thousands of years. So new thought is taking those basic, really what Jesus taught without all of the religious dogma that got attached to it later on. That's what new thought is, resurrecting that. New Age is related, but New Age usually means using crystals, tarot cards. I don't know. I often say, as practitioners, we're trained, we don't do that. What we do is prayer. We don't pull cards, you know, we don't treat healing people with crystals. But I say, God can use anything to heal. God can use anything to communicate with us. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But those things are basically dubbed New Age as opposed to New Thought. Have any of you thought about what you'd do for an elevator speech? If a friend came up to you and say, you go to this church, what the heck do they believe? What do they do? Have you thought about an elevator speech? What would you say? We pray? Good.
Pure love.
Pure love. Okay, God is love. Oneness, absolutely, one of the most important. Yeah, God is within. And this is something that is said over and over again in here. Over and over again. It's within and without. Not up in the sky somewhere. Yeah. Most important that I believe. Yep. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Is religious science Christian? Is another biggie. What would you say? It does depend. It does depend. I say absolutely, if by Christian you mean we believe in the teachings of the master teacher, Jesus. Absolutely. There's nothing he taught we don't believe. The interpretations that have been laid on what he taught are something else. Do I believe that I have to believe in Jesus to be saved? No, I believe I am saved. And I believe what he taught was true. that I and the Father are one. And these things I don't do, it's the Father within, right, that doeth the work. So I would have to explain that it does depend. And then, just so you know, because you may not be aware, our denomination for Centers of Spiritual Living used to be called the Church of Religious Science. And years ago, they changed that name. I like that it was called a science, meaning it's provable. And these men who went on this expedition were scientists, and they believed because they saw proof before their own eyes. But religious science got confused with Christian Science, which believes in the healing power of prayer, which is great, but they don't believe in God gave us minds and medical knowledge and a pillar of prayer, Ernest said. It's all God. And it got confused with Scientology, which I think probably is a cult. We've been accused of being a cult. So we changed it to Centers for Spiritual Living, which I think is it's a less triggering name. We'll put it that way. Let's see. Isn't it true that some human acts are unforgivable? Is it? Child sexual abuse, Hitler's mass murder are the two that you get all the time. Right? So we believe God doesn't even need to forgive because God sees our wholeness, our goodness. We can stray. God knows we can stray. We can make horrible errors that what's the word I want? What's the present tense of wrought? I don't know. That bring terrible consequences upon others. But this power that birthed us knows the truth of who we are. And so just like the prodigal son story, there really is nothing to forgive. We need to own up. We need to be transformed. We need to be making amends. But no act is forgivable, I believe, in the mind of the divine. Therefore, we don't condone someone's actions, but we don't condemn the person. And we believe that we suffer the consequences and should suffer the consequences of our sins. So it's not to say somebody commits a crime shouldn't be punished, but we have to find it in our heart to go back to what we sang about. In your eyes, it's me I see. That's true for the criminal. It's true for ICE agents. It's true for those that have been killed. It's true for every one of us. So is there any act that's unforgivable? I would say no. Does it take some work to get there? I would say yes. Our practitioner, Kathy Green, wants to teach another workshop on forgiveness, and so stay tuned. You'll be hearing about that. It's a really important practice for our own peace of mind and for our prosperity of all good, too. Okay. I think that's about it. Any other frequently asked questions, or maybe it's just your question about New Thought that has remained untouched by this month-long series? Anybody? Have we answered all your questions for now? All right. I'm going to leave you with a short quote from Ernest, which I love. We are all chemists in the laboratory of life. What is it we shall create? What is it we shall create? Let's go into prayer. I recognize and choose to declare there is one power, one presence, one infinite life, one infinite supply, one God, the Spirit Almighty, Father, Mother, God. It goes by so many names. It's the energy, the essence of all of life, the creative force, the yes. I know it as perfect, unconditional love, perfect peace, exquisite harmony, creativity, freedom, joy, beauty, oneness. So much more. Its center is everywhere. It has no circumference. It is unlimited. It is infinite, eternal, no beginning, no end. I know that power, whether we call it God, Spirit, whatever, is what created me, what created you, what created everyone on the planet and beyond the planet itself, all of life. And because there's only God, We are one. We are one with the animals, the plants, the furry ones, the winged ones, the ones that crawl. We have been given the mission to care for one another, to love one another. As the book of the month, Robin Wall Kimmerer, author, says, the earth loves us just as we love the earth. Think of what it gives us. To be in connection with that, to tend that, as the indigenous people did so beautifully, is part of why we're here. So what my prayer is today is that we each look at how we may be acting in ways that look like we're goats when we're really tigers. No matter what age we are, it's a beautiful practice to look at, where am I being limited? Where am I placing limits on a life that is meant to be infinite and unlimited? Where are my dreams been stunted? Where is a gift I've not been giving? Where can I serve? Because when we give of ourselves, we bless others and we bless ourselves as well. So this year I declare a year of expansion, a year of infinite possibility, and a year of divine kinship with all of life, all people, all nations, all creatures. Even the stones are ensouled, said one of the Greek philosophers. How we care for the earth is so very important. And so giving thanks for all these teachings, for this expedition and the beautiful teachings that resulted from it, giving thanks for our community, for those watching online, giving thanks for this coming year when each of us gets to be that chemist in the laboratory of life and make choices that are empowering for us and beneficial to everyone with whom we come in contact, and even those we don't see. For that energy, that vibration of love has no bounds in its ability to travel. Again, with deep thanks, I just release these words into that law that responds before I've even finished this prayer. It says, yes, we let it be. We let God be God, and we say together, and so it is. Amen.
Well, a few years ago, I was touring with a new tour partner. Took her, she'd never been to a New Thought church. Took her to a few churches, and she said, what is this stuff all about? So I wrote a song to explain it. So here we go.
We are the crown of creation, nature becoming conscious of herself, swimming in an ocean of sensation, discovering the vastness of our wealth. These times are times of great mystery. These times are times of great choice. As we answer the call of our own destiny, we must each speak our own truth with our own voice. And if there's one great light, we must find it all. And if there's one great peace, we must find it all. If there's a oneness in life, we must find it all in our hearts. These times times are times of great trials. These times can be times of great hope. These times may be times of personal struggles. But these times can be times of limitless growth. And if there's one great light, we must find it all. And if there's one great peace, we must find it all. If there's a oneness in life, we must find it all in our hearts. Find it all in our hearts. Find it here in our heart.
You know, I gotta say, you always do a great job, but this was something else today. Perfect, perfect music. Just saying, wow. It is time now for our tithes and offerings. A big thank you to everybody who continues to support us. Thank you to Sue and Vivian, our ushers today. There are envelopes for cash in the back of the purple chairs should you need them, and if you're watching us online, there's a QR code if you'd like to give. We'd be very appreciative of that. But mostly a big thank you. We are a prosperous community because of you. Let's say our affirmation together. Are you ready? Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive.
We're going to do a medley of unity songs. I believe the first one was written by James Dillard Freeman.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
And now by Wayne and Janet Manning.
I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now.
Perfect. Once again. Yeah. Before I turn it over to Treasure for our announcements, I do have a couple that I want to make. A big congratulations goes out to the Anderson family, because Malachi, one of our teens, this past weekend at teen camp was elected youth leader for our region. Yeah. Yeah. What an honor for Grandpa and Grandma and Papa Ben, We're really excited. That means he will be involved in planning future teen camps. So, and just a chance for him to grow in his leadership skills. It's just awesome. The other thing I wanted to mention is we give part of our 10% tithe to local, not always local, to organizations who support our mission. And we're looking for your ideas as the board votes on who we're going to support this year. Just as an example, in the past we have supported Habitat for Humanity with money as well as our build, our manpower, woman power. We've also supported Unite down the street. It's housed at the Methodist Church, and it supports immigrants. So if you have some ideas of organizations the board might consider, your favorite, we say charities, but a tithe means we're supporting them because they feed us, because they are supporting our mission, okay? So just email me, or, yeah, email me would be the best thing. My email is in the newsletter. Freja, come on up, and don't forget to stay. She's going to tell you why.
Yes. Can we talk about the sandwich makers?
Here now? Aren't we going to do that at the annual meeting? What?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, she gave it away. Yes, indeed. So, greetings to those who are joining us right now live online. Hi, Robin, Donna, Scott, and Priscilla. We're so glad you can be here with us. To all of those who will eventually join us online, we send greetings as well. For those of you who are here in the house today, please join us for food and fellowship right after service in the Bosworth Hall, followed by our annual meeting. Everyone is welcome. Please come. Members are asked to sign in with Vivian as you will be voting for new board members. We'll begin the meeting by viewing a slideshow highlighting events from the past year. Thanks, Shannon. While you're in Bosworth Hall this morning, be sure to browse Jason's jewelry. He has a lovely selection of gently used and newly crafted pieces. Don't forget Valentine's Day is coming. Looking ahead to the week, Tai Chi and Poetry as Spiritual Practice meet Tuesday morning at their regular times. The Book of the Month discussion group with Reverend Kimberly meets this Tuesday morning from 11 to 12:30 here at the center.
Wednesday morning. I may have written that wrong. Wednesday morning.
Oh, yep, I didn't catch that. Here at the center, the group will listen to another chapter of Braiding Sweetgrass, great book, read by the author, and then discuss it. This is a free offering, and all are welcome to attend whether you joined the last session or not. This is also the last week to join Reverend Stephanie's 6-week accredited class, Visioning a Way of Life. The class meets on Wednesday evenings from 5 to 8 p.m. here at the center. Regular tuition is $195, which includes a $45 registration fee. Please remember to check our weekly e-newsletter for all our happenings. If you don't receive it, a printed copy of the current week is always available at the information table in Bosworth Hall. You can sign up to receive it there on our website or by emailing us at cslroguevalley@gmail.com. Finally, there is one shared prayer box at the back of the sanctuary for both CSL and Unity. Prayer request forms are available in the back pockets of the purple chairs and at the back of the sanctuary. See you after service.
Thank you, Treja. So another pitch I did on our opening, please wear your name tags. If you don't have one, there are name tags in the back you can write on. And if you don't have one and you'd like a permanent one, there's a sign-up sheet back in Bosworth Hall. It's just great because, I mean, I meet people and then forget and vice versa. It's good, and especially today when you come to the annual meeting, if you'd wear your name tag, it's a good chance to really get to know people. I'd like to read a benediction, and while I do, I'm going to invite our practitioners and ministers who are in the room who are available for a quick prayer after service. Please, I like to say, do not leave here with a heavy heart. These folks will know spiritual truth and infinite possibility for you in your life. You can go, we've decided it's best if you come, grab one of them by the hand, and if they want to, they could take you back either to my office, to the living room, or here on the stage. So take advantage of these wonderful souls and their service. I'm going to end with this, and then we'll turn it over to you guys for our closing song, and I'm going to invite you to stand if you're able for the closing song. This is an affirmation from Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called You. I'll wait for us to get stood up. All right. invite you to just take this in. I know that the divine spirit is operating through me now. I know that I'm not limited by anything that has happened or anything that is now happening. I am entering into an entirely new set of conditions and circumstances. That which has no limit is flowing through my consciousness into action. I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. And so it is.
Quickly, Laura and I are joined by Alyssa for a kirtan at 4 o'clock at the Wellsprings.
Let there be peace on earth,
and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let